line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow.
This is the last race of the regular season for these drivers, but there is one thing on their mind that they will have to conquer and have to fight against, and that is the ultimate challenge of two drivers looking for their championship race-ending season. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader, Christian Driver, joining you here today as we're down here at old Talladega County, Alabama. It's time to see Talladega Superspeedway back on the roster, back on the show, as these drivers are about to bring you the big one here today, presented in part by Spartan Logistics Management LLC. R&R Racewear, the official web store website for iRacing merchandise, as well as the IROC Challenge Series. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing your loud pedal for your viewing entertainment. SimSpeedShop.com. Track Time Entertainment. And of course, to our friends over at 5 Star Graphics, big thank you again from the IROC Challenge Series, as well as us here on PT Race TV. Without further ado, let's get down to business. Let's go on the pole. We're going to see out of the gate some heavy hitters here, as Brian McCann, the one that is trying to knock down Neil Quick for the top spot in the final race for the regular season. He is a few points out, looking for the championship run. He'll start on the pole. He was outside of him will be Vincent Short from a Holler Boys Racing Team in the 15. Row number 2, you just heard his name, Neil Quick. He's trying to get the top spot, top honors away from Brian McCann. He'll pile the number 2 here, as he's got Kevin McCann, his brother, on the outside in the 33. Row number 3, Cut Quick, and the number 54 is outside. Kyle Pengraff will pile up on the number 14. Row 4, David E. Brown, the 7 is outside. Aaron Smith, and the number 1. Row 5 sees Cody Harger in the 6-6 outside. Hunter Clark in the 18. Row number 6, Chris Wally in the 5 is outside, being David Tremblay in the 96. Row number 7 is going to be piloted by Doug Wysocki here in the number 34. Just outside that will be, of course, Brian Rose, the 89. Row number 8, Dakota Clark will be in the number 38. It's outside. Jeff Napier in the 40. Row 9 sees Troy Radford in the 94. Is outside. Brandon Medford there in the number 83, excuse me. Row number 10 is going to be Mike Harper in the number 4. Is outside. It's other Medford, Chris Medford in the 46. Row 11, final starter, Matt Kopp, the 22, with Ray Radford in the 47, rounding out your field. Race fans, y'all want some Talladega action? Do you want some hard racing action? I think we're about to present it to you. If there was ever a track that haunts me to this day and still gives me nightmares on just how much of a curse this place can put on you, and as much as it is hard to win here, I think this might be the track. Talladega Superspeedway, 2.65 miles in length. The biggest racetrack, oval-wise, closed circuit in the world. And an absolute unit of a track built to speed, built to precision, built to momentum. It takes and claims and it drives everyone to the wall and to the wires. It is one of the toughest to win out on. It's one of the toughest to race out on. You're the fact of you're having to fight multiple drivers in multiple scenarios and multiple areas, just looking to try to outclass and outsmart the other. Only the best can win here, and only the best can find the luck and the precision to get around this place. This isn't just a track you go full throttle on draft with. This is a track you've got to time your moves, you got to time your spots, time your shots, and hope that in the end it will all come back to you and it will work towards your fader. Lady Luck deals the hand. She will show every driver around here what it takes to win on this track. Off of corner number 4, our pace car will come off out of the track here, lead him down to the front straightaway here. This very unique tri-oval design base here will plant the field in position. Our flagmen down off the end of the tri-oval, which will bring our drivers to the restart zone, getting them prepared for this one. Brian McCann is your track time, quick time of the day. But can he be the fastest overall through this one? We're about to find out. Green flag is out for the Spartan Logistics Management LLC IROC Challenge Series. Here we go, right out of the gate, out of the start. The number 1, Aaron Smith, already probably doing the same most drivers would do. In this case, same I would probably do. Back off, let everyone else find it out. Don't care about the rest. Brian Rose doing much the same, letting everyone get it right up ahead of him. But up front, Vincent Short, the 15, he says, to heck with that ruling. I don't care for nothing. I'm going to race this one to the outwire into the hull shot. Kevin McCann, though, in the 33, working with his brother Brian, trying to help him out a little bit while at the same time trying to help himself. Kevin has not had the best of luck and best of runs this season, nor has he had really the showcase of what I feel maybe in his mind he deserves and what he feels should be top honor by now. Now with these next gens, we do know one thing is for certain with Daytona is that they do get a good push and a good draft. So it's not just a one-line track here, even though you see the drivers going into a draft zone right now. If you can get a few drivers to come with you, you can actually get a pretty good run and a pretty good little fight off. But again, 100 laps to the distance. Do you really think for 1 second these drivers are going to go full haymaker or haywire out here? A lot of them are going to be playing it close, being placed safe for now. As you can see, there is still a pretty good draft zone there for Kyle Pengrav in that 14. Saw he was actually hanging up there with 96 David Tremblay into the pack. Just didn't have anyone else to help push him around. And watch out for that 66 Cody Harger here. Look at that huge run. He comes off the corner. Look at him pass on by the 18. And that's what I'm talking about again, is that earlier when we saw that 550 horsepower package before the updates, you could not get a run like that. Now you definitely can. But the downside though is once you lose the draft, once you lose that bubble, then that happens right there. Nobody trying to make any big moves yet. They don't want to risk it. And again, I don't blame them right now. It's a little too early to be getting too crazy. A little too early to be doing a little too many crazy stuff here. We saw at Daytona too. One thing was prevalent there was the amount of spins and the overall drivers struggling to keep these cars online. this was not an easy race for them to get through, and this one so far is, I think honestly, I think they may have watched a little bit of that and they may have studied kind of like why that was and why that is. I think they understand now. There is a bit of a situation to be brewed upon. They're gonna have to be careful though, because I mean there's only so much far you can go when it comes to wanting to fight, when it comes to battle here in that single file draft. Sooner or later you're going to be putting bumpers together. And again, a lot of these drivers, they are not going full haywire. I'll say that right now. It may seem like they are, but let me tell you something. That draft can push a lot better than that, and these cars can grab a lot quicker than this. This is not full speed, full throttle yet. Although they're hitting like 200 miles per hour on some of their runs here in 205, you can hit about 208 if you just charge this thing up. Kevin and Brian McCann right now, the McCann brothers right now, looking to secure a top honor and a top spot for Brian here. The thing for Brian tonight is he's only out of the championship regular season win by only a few points. Next week we will be going to the All-Star race, and then it will be back to your playoff contentions and your playoff racing series. We'll show you the points a little later on, just how close this battle is, how prevalent everything is going down for these drivers. But at the moment still, not a whole lot of maneuvering and not a whole lot of kind of being put around on the track, although the Wonder Aaron Smith seems to be kind of changing that up a little bit. Looks like he's starting to build some speed up. And again, this is what I'm talking about right here. You see Smith, you see how hard he's charging. This is what he's trying to get an idea of, is how hard can he push that draft and how hard can he get a run from the draft. He's not worried about making too many passes right now. He's more worried about seeing how much speed he can build up. A lot of guys, usually when they're running on these tracks, there's only two things they do. It's either back off the throttle so they don't have to hit their bumpers together too much, or they're going to go full haywire and they'll either try to slingshot you or they will push your bumper to get a good, to try to give you some speed to help kind of get back into the draft or into the packs. Like I said, at the moment, you can see, you get just a little bit right now. Brian Rose, he is on the throttle pretty hard here, but he's not still full throttle, because you look at those RPMs. Look right there. Look at the RPM kind of dropping down a little bit. You see, that's where he's slowing up. Now here comes the speed, and look at how much kick that car gets right on to the rear end of the 38 Dakota Clark. That's where he's actually getting the speed from. That's where his run comes from, and that's what he's testing right now. And he does not want to be pushing too much against, because he knows there's an angle there. If he gets it just in the wrong spot, it will hurt him and it will hurt all the other drivers involved. Even Kevin McCann, you can see, who's usually a pretty aggressive son of a gun, I will say. He's even laying off a little bit. Keeping Vincent short in his mind here and in his sight. He definitely doesn't want Vincent thinking anything too much here. The Holler Boys racing crew, man, they've had a tumultuous season, to say the least. It's been highs, there's been lows, and unfortunately I think the lows kind of outweigh the highs a little bit. But I can tell you, the first time we ever saw these guys out on the track, it was here at Talladega Superspeedway all those seasons ago. They had something really built up and really worked around there. I want to see if that happens again. And speaking of happens again, remember what I said earlier about that draft, that push? Here it comes. Smith into the 66 of Cody Harger. They are doing it. They're working their throttle in, trying to get the side draft to grab on. And look at them just start to cross the field up a little bit, starting to get a few more of them. The 54 Cook Quick realizes now he's kind of in between a rock and a hard place. He can't exactly go up top and run with them. That 550 horsepower package, usually I am absolutely not a fan of, but with that downforce, low downforce, if you will, and that low spoiler, it makes the car just a slight bit harder to drive and can make things slightly more difficult and prevalent, and that's where the fun begins, and that's where the racing comes from. I've made my case on that 550 horsepower package before, but again, with this Daytona Talladega drafts, to me, I have to kind of clear my mind and kind of open the senses up a little bit, because it does make for some good racing. Drivers on the outside now building up speed. They're looking for a run. Maybe looking to try to mount the charge to the front. Smith, literally like literally the general on the field. He leads his troops up to the front. The onboard camera here, Troy Radford, the 94, and boy, what a season he's had, getting a few race wins in this season. Got himself into some pretty good predicaments and some good positions overall. But this season, really, to me, has kind of shown one thing, is for sure, and that is absolutely nothing, is for sure. We were surprised when Neil Quick, really, with his old 550 horsepower package, had pretty much led the entire field, led the entire crew off the start and out of the gates. And since then, he's been doing nothing but leading the entire field in the points race and everything. But there has been one challenger that came along really a little bit later in the season than I thought he would. That being, of course, the man in front of him, the number 3, Brian McCann. And again, if McCann cannot get at least a couple extra points, not just from the bonus points in the stages, but also a higher position in the closing race here, that honestly could go either way between those two on who wins this regular season championship. I know for the two of Neil Quick, this would mean a lot to him to be able to show the boys, after a couple of hard breaks last season, that he has now come to play. He's gone full bore with his cars and with his work. Aaron Smith right now trying to work with the number 2 a little bit. Got a little bit put up into that draft line. They're locking horns. They're ready to line it up. They're lined up, but now they're going to get some help. Cook Quick going outside. He sees Pack driving. He wants to go with him. Aaron Smith ditches them all. Goes to the bottom. He wants the bottom lane now. And it looks like things are getting a little bit hectic here. It looks like everyone's trying to find either where they want to play at or where they want to go to. I don't think that anybody has got a safe zone, though, other than unless you're on that bottom lane. The only reason that's a safe zone is because that's pretty much the safest area to follow, because you don't have to worry about having to drive a certain area. Just stick to the bottom in the yellow and just make sure you don't go below it. Sometimes it just all works out in its favor. And speaking of working out in its favor, here comes that draft yet again. Cook Quick on the outside, pulling some momentum. He pulled a lot more momentum on there than Vincent Short, I think, realized. Same for Kevin McCann. Look at him drive it hard right off the outside. Working it on in up top here. These next-gen Cup cars, extremely loosey-goosey and hard to handle. That's the beauty of it, but look at the push from the 2. 3 cars is all it takes, and this is what they wanted. Neil to the bottom. He's going to take Quick with him. Cook and Neil to the race lead. Oh, Vincent Short, though, giving Neil a little bump in the back there. That could have been treacherous there for both drivers. If Neil gets into that wreck there, his race and his season's over with. Doesn't matter what Brian does at that point, unless Brian gets wrecked out with him. He's got to be careful about that. He's got to make sure he watches his risk, watches his moves. Having someone behind you like this is a very tall order and can be a dangerous situation here. The 5 of Chris Wally having problems getting out of pit road out of the start. Finally gets the 5 out of there. He's going to be, unfortunately, a lap down, but the good news for him is he's got a stage break to come with it. Piling it up a pretty sweet looking ride there, I will say. Pretty nice little design on that car. I will give him that any day of the week. You're on board with Wally right now. And I guess now it's time to kind of file back in line, file back the drivers, and slow the field up just a little bit. They had such an impressive run and impressive display of momentum on the outside. Looks like the outside is starting to get a little bit of a grip, a little tack surface up there, because they were kind of mainly running the bottom lane. Looks like maybe they just had some open area and open season to play with. And I think it's what the drivers are kind of hoping for. They're looking for open area and open landscape to use. But again, just think about this for a second here, folks. Literally, it was over. It was over. I think it was like 5 months ago, where we had saw the first race ever on a plate track with these next gen Cup cars. Go back and watch that, and then like judge this right now. It's literally night and day. And the sad part is, it's the same amount of speed. It's the same horsepower. But you know what's different? It's that 4-inch spoiler back there, the low downforce. And again, that's because when you have something like that, it makes the cars unstable. It makes them harder to drive. That, in my opinion, is what makes this racing and this car so good. Making it unstable, making it a little bit harder to control. But not to the point where it's impossible to drive, but just to the point that the actual drivers have got to be more creative, more clever. That is impressive, and that is what I feel what we've always needed. Because I remember those spoilers back there used to be a lot bigger than they are right now, I'll tell you that. Give you guys just a little bit of an idea what I'm talking about here. Take a look at that rear end spoiler there. You may have noticed some, those spoilers used to be a lot bigger. And that was when basically they were more kind of set for the high force, if you will. The high down force on those cars were a lot more stable. They were a lot more balanced. But the thing is, with that slow 55 horsepower speed, it really ruined the racing, in my opinion. Now, if you put 750 in these things and you had that high down force, then I can see where you can be okay with it because you got a slingshot machine. But because these cars are slowed down but more unstable, that still kind of makes the racing so much more conservative, more consistent. 18 out of 100 completed so far, and movements coming up from the back yet again. Watch out though, Aaron Smith. Well, apparently he was watching with Cook Quick, and Neil Quick did earlier. And Brian Rose, a teammate to the 15 of Vincent Short, looking to try to bring Holler Boys back to the spotlight. That is absolutely impressive to me. They were able to build that much speed, build that much run in that draft zone as quick as they did. And it just goes to show you the evolution of these cars, the evolution that everything brought to it. And speaking of evolution, holy cow, man, the 89 just literally found a little bit of extra speed. I thought Smith literally took the race lead and was going to leave it alone. No! Brian Rose said, to heck with this. I'm going up top. I'm going to get my draft, and I'm going to push right ahead of you there, Smith. He takes the race lead away. He's going to lead a lap, get a point from that one. His teammate Vincent Short already getting a couple points from earlier. Brian McCann, though, with that fast qualifying time, did actually get a point or two to help kind of circumvent his situation, his circumstances. But how much will that affect overall in the points race remains to be unknown. But every point, I guarantee you, will count, as you will see with our showcase later on that points race list. Boy, you can just feel the power these riders bring to the table, and everyone looking as solid as can be, just looking for momentum, looking for charges whenever they can get it. I will say, I will say this now, and I think I can be pretty clear when I say this, and you guys can feel free to criticize me if you'd like, but I think that everything on this car now is just right. It's about as good as it gets. It's what it needs to be. It looks amazing, to be honest with you. It looks like an awesome looking street. Looks like an actual kind of a stock car, if you will, in very many ways. And the package is right on the plate tracks finally. The speed on the 1.5 miles is just right. The short tracks, you're going to get short track racing. That's all we want. And the road courses, they make for some pretty impressive battles when done right. The only thing I'm still very hesitant, very lenient to say needs fixed, / I do not like still. Well, I'll say I don't like it still because I haven't raced it enough. It's still that steering pinion. I'm sorry, guys. That's not going to go away from me, though. You're probably wondering at home, what am I talking about again? Okay, well, for those that have not been with us here before, or that may have been living under a rock here when it comes to the X-Gen and all that, right with these cars here, no, where that was David Brown, not us there. With these cars, they have a new steering valve, steering pinion, steering setup inside of that steering valve there underneath where the wheel is. You get to see that wheel kind of moving around. You can see the valve right there below it. And what it does is that it made the car a lot stiffer and a lot harder to kind of master around with. Now you're wondering at home, okay, so that explains why the car's a little harder to control besides the downforce, but what does that have to do with anything about not being very good? Well, even with that, this steering is just so uniquely different and very tricky to handle because on 1.5 miles, you have to actually back off the throttle. You can't pull throttle anymore and try to save it. It just will not work. But also, when you're trying to really get a chance to really bring it back, it's almost extreme. It's almost like impossible to do, in my opinion, because the car will not react the way you would think it should. Like if you turn it to the right the slightest bit when you're spinning loose or you're about to get loose, that thing just shoots straight at you instead of what normally would do if you're on a super late model or if you're in a late model or street stock, which is if you back off and you steer it in, you can actually drift it. With these cars, you've got to really slow down just quite a bit to get it to stop, to not do that, just to get a good drift out of it. So that's kind of my overall thoughts with that on that end. Still, I'm still not a huge fan of that. But again, I have not raced it enough, so I could be dead wrong. I just could be sounding like a complete tool, and I don't know. I could be like a buffoon, and you guys would probably be like, yeah, down the road, like, yeah, that was pretty funny the way he talked. At least he just now tried it, and now he actually likes it. I don't know. I haven't raced these cars very much, to be honest with you. I just haven't really had the urge. It's not that I can't race them. I could race them. But I've never honestly been a big fan of running the Cups or anything like that. Xfinity and Truck's kind of where I lay the ground rules at. I've never really been a fan of Cup Series. Like racing wise, I love watching them, but I always just felt like that was more centered towards like the actual good old boys and the folks that know how to really wheel a race car. I was always that guy that just liked short track, little late model or street stock or any of those cars. Hopefully next update too, we can get that that square body Chevrolet Monte Carlo too. That will be nice for my street stock crew, my drivers out there. I know we've been wanting that for quite some time here. All our boys joining us on in here today as well. Thank you so much for tuning on down. Everyone else that has come on board to watch us the showcase here today, thank you so much for your time. We're 1/4 of the way through this one so far. And really, I don't want to say it's been kind of a one-man show because it definitely has not been. But it's been kind of a one-group show. And if your name's not a Holler Boy, and if your name's not a Quick, or a Smith, or a McCann, then you ain't racing for that lead. But again, we are very, very early, and again, there is a stage break halfway in. That will bring everyone back to a creep and crawl, and the bonus points are going to be added up with it. I guarantee you when it comes, though, Brian McCann, that 3 may make a little bit of a charge here. He's being very cautious, very patient here, because, you know, you saw Neil Quick get a little bit tagged around earlier on. He was getting kind of bumped and banged a little bit, and he knew it. That was done via the number 15 of Vincent Shorten him when he made the pass to get Quick ahead up into the race lead. And then Smith and Rose kind of followed in pursuit. Smith actually was the one that led the field in, and then Rose had a little bit of a power boost from the 66 of Cody Harger on that outside line, and then just stole away that spot. There's a lot of running, a lot of position here, and again, now drivers like, well, I just completely forgot we have to go to pit road sometime today. Now comes the fun of trying to figure out your way in pit road. Keep it clean, keep it clean. Okay, we're good there. Nicely done by the drivers. Whoa! Except for Cook Quick, looks like he had a little bit of a tag there. I think that might have been actually Neil Quick that he got into it with it. And now the draft train backs it back up. 4 cars now in it as the rest of the field take fuel and get the heck out of Dodge. Quite a few already went into pit road there, but originally they were kind of staying in their own little lane, their own little spot. Brandon Medford, Chris Medford, Matt Kopp, Ray Radford, Jeff Napier, they all were in on their own times. Chris Wally falling in with the later half of the pack. And now comes the struggling fight for supremacy as Aaron Smith, Kevin McCann, Brian McCann, David E. Brown head to pit road. Brian Rose is going to try to lead the group in the charge right to the race lead. And you can just see the distance, see the amount of travel these drivers got to get up through just to get up there with them. You can see already, though, they are heading out. 54 Cook Wick, though, he actually had a speeding penalty going into pit road, so he'll have a little bit of a problem there on his hands. Aaron Smith is out of pit road. He's on the front straightaway, but he's not going to have enough time unless he floors it here to get into that draft on turn 3 and 4. Brian McCann and Kevin McCann will be staying close together to work with each other. Smith trying to time it. Can he time it just right? Rosenharger coming right at him. Coming off the back straightaway end here. Look at Smith looking to bring it right up there. Times the strategy. He needs to build the speed to stick with it. Rosenharger going to go right up to him here. What do they do? Oh, Smith's gonna let him choose for him. They're gonna stay at the bottom. He's gonna go right up top side and grab that line. He grabs the line off 66 of Harger, and a perfect pit strategy by Aaron Smith. Well done by the number 1. And again, that bubble that is that draft lane, that is the dirty air, that's not really too big of an issue anymore. You can grip pretty hard now and get a pretty good build up of speed just alone from this car now, and that is really the biggest thing I think a lot of drivers, myself included, are happy is finally here. Neil Quick, David Tremblay, and Vincent Short, though, look at him work the 3-car tandem draft right up to the front. And again, because they have those rounded edge bumpers and everything, they don't exactly just give out a huge little hit or two. Neil knows he doesn't need to do anything too crazy right now anyway. He just needs to try to stay out of trouble and stay in position. Looking at times wise right now, I don't think that lap was exactly what Quick wanted to see here with Aaron Smith. You can see, even though they can get a bit of a pit on the bubbles on the speeds here, that doesn't necessarily mean if you go too far away that you can actually get that draft back. You can see here the time zone difference. Ignore 27-28. That was during a pit stop routine. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, 26 through 28, I should say. Let's take a look at lap 30. We'll see 29. We'll see if lap 30, if there was any kind of boost in speed for Quick. He's going to rely on the draft, rely on the package here. Time shows no gain, loss of 1/10 of a second. So now this is what I was talking about earlier. This is now where you gotta start pushing. You've actually got to put some bumpers together. You got to start pushing a little bit. And again, if you don't have that thing lined up in the draft, then these rounded edge cars can be a very big handful, and they'll give you a lot more problems than it's worth. Field is in a hot brigade, hot position, hot battle here. 20 laps remain. Quick right now, leaning back up the charge, and I think at this point, this is exactly what Neil needs to see. He needs a little bit of help from some family to catch him and actually catch him. He is indeed actually closing off by a few hundredths of a second here again. This is actually genius strategy if you think about it. Try to get some drivers closer to you, try to get a little bit of help, and you might be able to get yourself back on the lead lap without having to rely on that lucky dog. If I was Cook Quick right now, here's what I would try to do. I would try to fall back a little bit, but don't go too far back. Grab Neil and get the entire runoff from Neil, Trumley, and Short. Let them charge up to you. Go to the outside, use that draft, and push it right up ahead, and that's exactly what's happening here. Aaron Smith is being collected on thanks to the help of Cook Quick here. That fourth car added on there late half, actually gave him a little bit of speed and a little bit of boosting. And the other side of the coin here, though, the McCanns as well as Radford Brown are now lined up. Kyle Pengraff in the number 14 trying to keep up distance, trying to keep up position. At this point, he knows he doesn't have really the run to get all that power, all that momentum for the long haul. Really, he's more after just kind of staying out of trouble, staying in position, staying in control of his destiny here. Well, the two real quick was catching that rear end of the number 1 really quickly here and getting a good runoff here. Smith slowed up a little bit here and is not exactly getting any boost of speed, getting boost of momentum. Brian Rose, he's going full throttle. He's the only driver you know is going full throttle. The only time you know someone's going full throttle is if they're in the race lead, by the way. That's the best way to know someone's going full throttle is when they're literally in the race lead at a play track. Doesn't matter who you are. Let's just at 87 out there. Cup cars, I don't think there's any which way to Sunday to talk about it. Tell you what, Scott's saying good luck drivers and asking us to chat here. Does one driver race anymore? She doesn't really race on Pizza Racing TV. We have not ran with her, but she does race still, I can tell you that much. But she has not been around on our end here, my friend. So field right now still kind of doing their own little thing here, just kind of keeping themselves under control here. Yet not a single caution thrown yet. Not a single caution having to come out yet, thankfully. But again, this is only the beginning. Field's starting to kind of get back under control here, kind of staying in there a little bit. Yeah, no problem. Let's go for the update, man. How you been doing, by the way? I haven't heard from you in a little bit. Speaking of haven't heard from him a little bit here, Mike Harper with Saki, kind of laying back here again with the field here with the 5. Chris Walling getting out of the way yet again here. Remember, he has a couple laps, he's nearly couple laps down here at the moment. Pretty much actually is 2 laps down at this moment here, unfortunately. He's having some problems down there, keeping up speed, keeping up the draft line here, looking for some openings and some momentum. And again, really, he's hoping that stage breaks to help him out and give him a chance here. He's the only one that is right now on the lower end of the tiers, the lowest end of the track side here. Being a lap down definitely does not help things too much. Being a couple laps down, it really doesn't help at all. And a little bit of momentum built up here now, right up through the chains, through the field. Cook Quick and David Tremblay left all alone as Vincent Short will now actually take over the race lead here. He actually got right up there with his teammate Brian Rose, and thanks to a little bit of work and a little switchblade action, a little maneuvering, now takes full advantage here. Oh, Tremblay though, he says, I'm not playing these games with you, holler boys. Oh, I hear you hollering, I hear you collaring, but I don't play it down like that. I will fight you off as long as I can till literally everyone decides to just jump up ahead of me. They go up top side, they leave him all alone. Well, we can't say high and dry because they're up on the high line, so what do we call that on the low line? Low and slow? That doesn't even sound right. Down on the front straightaway here, down past our pace car here, or excuse me, our lights as flags flashed up. We have got the caution thrown out for the stage break. And Vincent Short with his teammate Brian Rose showing the Holler Boys they still got it at the plate tracks here. The Holler Boys go 1-2 for stage number 1. But Neil Quick, that finish right there for the top 3 gives them some exclusive bonus points, which now forces Brian McCann to really rethink and retool his strategy. Will he have enough to get the 2 into the number 1 spot and win yet again? Or will he just go for it all and try to stay just ahead of Brian McCann? The Holler Boys seem to want to keep that number 1 spot, but everyone's out for blood in these next couple laps here. When we come back, Stage 2 begins, and the field will have their hands full as some hungry drivers want to take a feast out of Talladega. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, the official web store merchandise line for iRacing and the IROC Challenge Series, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. A very big thank you from all of us here at the PT Race TV as well as the IROC Challenge Series for your support and dedication towards the show. I talked earlier about this. Now it's time to show you guys what's up here, what we've been bringing up this whole time. Look at this. Going into tonight, 4 points was the difference maker and the settled stone. Now the 4 turns into a solid 7. Excuse me, turns into a solid 6. It's a solid 6 right now anyway. 6 points ahead right now for Neil Quick because of his finisher in that 3rd place spot. The stage points gave him a huge boost and a huge gain. And now things get a lot more tricky and a little more difficult. But again, even though you may be getting settled up here out on the track when it comes to getting top spots, top aims here, again, that 2nd stage can actually give back all the points that Neil Quick has got to hold on to, or that Brian McCann can gain to win out this one. He's going to have to start really playing a bit aggressive, though, come that final stage. I know that much right now. Vincent Short, Brian Rose will be top spots again. Harger, Neil Quick, and Aaron Smith will be the top 5. By the way, take a look at your other positions and finishers, man, on the top spots, top grids. Chris Medford really made a run the last couple of races to come at those boys, but sadly, without a win out, really outpacing some of those guys out there, he was struggling a little bit this season. His brother Brandon Medford, though, last week, man, they put on a show, put on a fight to the end. They were going for everything they had and then some. Just could not get the runs, could not get the speed and momentum. That is a look at your Spartan points list. Race fans, again, thanks so much for tuning on in here to the show. Again, if you do like what you see, like what you hear, then be sure to like and follow us up here on Facebook. Head over to our YouTube and subscribe there for more great content, more great action. It certainly is appreciated, and we certainly thank you again for coming on board. Remember, too, this as well, we are still looking into a few things. We're still looking into adding in and changing some things up around here on the showcase and on the track. We're hoping at this point, sometime next month, to start incorporating some music into the intros, the outros, before we hit the conclusive outros, as well as our commercial breaks here. So that is something to kind of keep a note of, kind of keep a track of. We are working hard on it, but remember, you got to remember, though, we do have a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we have to follow, rules and regulations, obviously. So got to be careful about that stuff, but we're doing our best. We're trying to find some unique things, some things different that no one else has tried yet. But I will say, in due time, we will have new things popping up. Of course, we did have the Crank It Up scene now, kind of showing its time or two up here. We haven't seen it just yet here. Jar's been a little bit conservative, so hasn't really been a need or two to get it out just yet here. But I promise you, this stage here, it will be coming out as long as everyone stays under control. Alright, race fans, field pacing back around the track, getting ready for the next battle up ahead. Field gonna work the corners, work the track, work the series in. Bringing them off down around the edges here. Turn number 4 here. Don Harger asking in the comment section, why did those cars pit a second time? Don, really, it was because they needed a fuel run. Biggest thing you gotta really worry about with these plate tracks is not necessarily tires, or really besides just damage, but it's really the fuel. Some of these guys had gone in a little sooner and a little bit earlier on. They only had enough fuel to kind of get them through the rest of this race. At least, not the rest of the race, but really on the rest of this run here as we go back green flag. Remember, they only have a select amount of fuel they can work with and get use, so they have to go in to actually get the fuel line to work and get a little more power to actually use up for later. One of the biggest factors really on plate tracks, again, besides fuel conserves them, has always been speed. really just keeping your car out on the track and keeping it out on the field, especially considering how big these places are. It's very tough to do. Yeah, that's really the main reason, Don. Is just to get more fuel. Every little extra piece of gas you can put in, the less you have to take time in pit road to fuel up with. So Aaron Smith, the way he was looking at it, even though he was already in pit road once, he went in a second time to kind of burn up a little bit of fuel, and then get back in there and take another little splash and go. And that pretty much actually kind of adds on to the list and adds on just a little bit more. So if he's ever in a bind and he comes on that final stage and goes into pit road, he might have to wait maybe a tenth less or a second less, and that will help him out tremendously here. Chris Wally's still a lap down. You're going to have to go straight back in the pack because they have to go 3 wide cylinder around him there. David Trumbley right now has had enough waiting around. This time he's going to fight the number 15, Vincent Short, straight to the line. There's company behind him, though, in the face of Dakota Clark in the 38. Actually, the 23, I should say, not the 38. It says 38 on the sim stamp end, but again, it's actually the 23 on the custom number end. So, and for those that don't know, some drivers have custom numbers on these cars. Well, actually, all of them do, to be honest with you. And some of them are not completely registered into the league like they should be. So they are actually coming up with a number that was chosen via the league circumstances as well as everything else, but it doesn't necessarily represent their car on the side there. Looks like Don was appreciative of our question that we had answered for him, so it's good to know we're helping the guys out here a little bit. Again, I don't know everything about racing. Let's be honest with this, fellas. I barely know some of the fundamentals that actually a lot of these drivers know more than anything. I just know kind of how to call it and basically kind of what it feels like down there, and that's about it. Right now being very detrimental here to his run. He's being a little bit all over the place. I'm not liking this right now for the 2. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to block Trumbley and Radford's run, but that was, in my opinion, a bad move to really be trying to do this this early in the game here. I know it's really only halfway. We're just about to hit, but again, halfway, not even hit yet. And also, he's got a points race going on with Brian McCann. Brian is going to have a field day and a half if he sees that 2 go around and crash out in any part of this race. But if he gets caught in anything either, it could cost him. But it's kind of crazy to think. We were literally about 15-20 laps with really no battle and no nothing. And the next thing you know, everyone just said, to heck with it. We're going to the outside. We're going to the bottom. We're going to run these things into the ground. Now look what has kind of come up here. I'll tell you one thing, I'm a little bit jealous right now. Anybody that goes down to the Talladega race coming up in a few weeks, I actually legitimately wanted to go to that and see what these cars do then. I had a chance, I declined it though because broadcasting reasons. And second, I wasn't even sure how these next gens were going to react, how they were going to work. I was a little nervous, a little skeptical. Now I'm pretty mad at myself, to be honest with you. Oh well, we'll plan out next year. I promise you that much. I'm gonna get to an actual Cup race next year. That's gonna be my goal. If they would just bring one to Iowa Speedway already, that wouldn't even be a problem. But of course, they won't do that. But they are bringing IndyCar over, and I will be attending that. So if you're in the area, come July 23rd. Feel free to hit me. Feel free to hit us up. You'll see me down there. A lot of maneuvering and a lot of drivers trying to find open area, open season on anything that moves and anything that runs. But again, they are all in the same predicament, same stance here. They're trying to find the best line, find the best grip, while at the same time challenging each other to a dead draw here. Smith closing the middle of the gap. Look at him work the move, work the movement, work them field in the big black and yellow. big yellow banana car coming right up into the field here with Brian McCann. The old big yellow as well, representative kind of the old Goodyear colors that I think has been made very, very, very famous on plate tracks like this one. Auger up topside right now, trying to stay out of trouble here. Brian Rose right behind the marks, right behind the track side here as well. Still looking for some openings, looking for some opportunity to strike here. Remember, it was Brian Rose and Vincent Short. They were your two front runners in the first stage. Right now, anyway, they're falling back a little bit. They're kind of staying out of trouble, trying to stay out of the way of any messes or any unclear situations. But even you can see right now, if you get too close up there, sometimes even you can still get shuffled around. Chris Bedford taking the race lead away in the 46, and you're probably wondering, wait a minute, how is he in the lead? He's in that big black car. Well, again, look who's ahead of him. It's Chris Wally, who's a lap down at the moment. So, actually, it works out quite well in his favor in this case. Well, I had to open my mouth about that one. Now they switch the lead up again. Troy Radford takes the lead away, but Brandon Medford trying to help the Medford family out a little bit. I guess I had to say one thing and I had to mean another at the same time. Oh, hold on. We got a little problem down here. We got one into the wall. Vincent Short is in the wall on the back straightaway. What has happened to the 15? It's our first caution of the day via a wreck, and this is a shocker here. Oh boy. Let's take a look at it. Here is a P10 Mystery Replay designed and presented then in part by SimSpeedShop.com. Oh, and it looks like Harper gets into it with a 5 there. Oh, and Neil Quick, you can saw he backed way off there. He got kind of trapped in there as well. Hard to really tell where exactly everything went wrong for the 15. We'll take another look at it for the chopper cam here. We'll see if we can get a good look at this here. Looked like kind of a little bit of a turnaround there. I think what happened was the 4 got a little loose. Remember what I said earlier about those tires can actually on your own can get you a little bit slicked up and get you trouble. Well, that's what I was talking about. And that's exactly what happened there to the 15, unfortunately. And I guarantee you he's not too happy about that one. But here's one more look at it here. This is Neil Quick's onboard camera. If you're Neil Quick right now, you probably have got a few logs you may want to get cleared out down there. You can see he backed way off, trying to avoid it, and just got clipped on the wall. That is going to be significant damage. But again, these next-gen cars, I've been told before, and I've heard it many times, they're pretty tough. They've been known to hold up for quite a while. They're going to need to hold up now. Let's see how bad the 2 gets it here. Remember, he does. Well, actually, they do have an instant repair down there. Hold on. Well, when did that ruling change? How many we got? Okay, there's one only instant repair, so that one that the 2 just took is going to be his only one. Sorry for the instant replay popping back up there. We had to double check that. So Vincent Short will have to use his up, though. Troy Radford will be your race leader. Chris Wally, unfortunately, getting collected in with that field. Definitely not going to help out his moving up to the field, moving up to the change spots here. But that was definitely a bad break between him and the 4 there. Field going to work them on in here. Drivers preparing to go back to the battle zone, back to the war here yet again. And really, this has been kind of an interesting little get around here at Talladega. We've had like 3 different parts to the race. The first part, easy and steady, keep it under control, don't do anything too crazy. The second part, start to get a little aggressive, start to get a little bit on the edge, a little ragged action. The third part, that's Talladega. We gotta send it. That's pretty much what both ends of the spectrum have been, and that's how the sections have been so far. And again, we're in just in stage 2, so who even knows what happens there? I will guarantee you the fourth part will come literally with about 5 or 10 laps to go, which is just, who the heck cares anymore? Just run this thing into the ground. Remember, they are on limited parts, limited quantities here, so they better be watching it here. Your top 5, Troy Radford, Brandon Medford, David Tremblay, Chris Medford, Brian McCann are your top 5 drivers now in the field. Matt Kopp, Vincent Short, Doug Wysocki, Kyle Pengraff, Kevin McCann, and of course Vincent Short. They are right now in the top 10 scenario. Kind of playing it out, even keeled, even positioned. Every single one of these drivers now looking for the coveted of the green flag. Stark coming off turn number 4 down that front straight with a tri-oval. They lead it down. There's the restart zone. We're back underway. Great speed, great control, distance around the track here. Every single driver kind of keeping themselves on the edge of their seats, looking for opportunities to strike it big when they can. Staying out of trouble so far and really watching every angle. Yet again, Quick unfortunately was found himself in that wrong end of the spectrum earlier. Brian McCann, no such luck. He did not have any damage and has a full instant repair ready to go, and now he is ready to go for the move. He sees how many laps are left. He sees what lies ahead. The stage 2 comes to an end, and if he can be in that race lead and Neil does not get into the top 3 podium, he will be able to grab the most points and take actually the points lead away. The top spot gets you 10 points just alone. 10, 8, it's 10, 6, and then 4 for those positions. It may not seem like a lot, but in this case for the regular season battle, that's a huge amount. But again, there are drivers still looking for their first win of the season, trying to find something to give themselves a chance, give themselves an opportunity to strike it big with. Off our corner zone number 4, 3 wide saloon for the first time today, and under the actual yellow, under the usual run line here. Now with one driver going below the yellow to let him pass, but an actual race run. And it looks like things are getting a little bit dicey up there near that wall. You can see a whole host of yellow and pink and orange all over the place here, with some white down at the bottom. Wysocki and Neil Quick trying to hammer down, trying to get some momentum going their way. Pushing it right up towards that front. Look out for lap traffic here. Things can get a bit dicey here. They're coming right up, I believe, on the... Kind of hard to get a number on that one here. We're trying to see who's up ahead. Oh, that looks like that's David E. Brown there in the number 7. Yep, that is Brown. He's going to stay up top side. He's going to let drivers on the bottom go. Stays up top. Gets out of the way. Drivers trying to clear him, trying to position. They clear it. Now they're going to run him right down the end, off down the line. Well, it's time, race fans. Let's turn up the volume, crank up the speeds, crank up the charge. Let's bring it down and crank it up. Sometimes you just gotta sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show and listen to the cars roar to life here. These next gens, they are mean, they're mean, and they're tough fighting machines. Uh-oh, I don't think that right now they're fighting machines any longer. But that number 40 here, Jeff Napier, has got some problems down there. 40 comes to a dead stop here. Looks like turn number 1. Unfortunately, there seems to be a bit of a problem for him in this case here, as that damage is definitely severe. But what exactly happened here is beyond me. The only way to know for sure is to find out. Let's take a look at the PT Instant replay. And that right there looked like a glitch graphic gremlin coming on the attack, and that couldn't have been any worse of a time for that 15 and the 7. Vincent Short has already used up an instant repair there, and he knows this is not going to go well for him and his crew. Knowing that they have already had to use up that repair shop, they've already had to go in and get it cleaned up. Now, they have to go in and get even more damage cleaned up and fixed. And again, really, this wasn't even, yeah, you can see right there, I know the obvious word is netcode, but we're going to use the glitch graphic gremlins terms here for this one, because that right there was not anything the 4 or the 40 were really expecting by any means. It ends up getting kind of clipped in there, just in a wrong angle in a bad spot. And that really hurts the run and the nose of that 15. And the Holler Boys team may become one short here. One last look at it. You can see Vincent, once he got clobbered, he knew he was in trouble. The damage is definitely severe, and it's going to hurt that car. He Did get some of it repaired though. Remember, Vincent isn't exactly one driver that can't get this thing to work as well as he wants it to. He did get this car pretty badly damaged last time we were here under that under the old school 550, and he actually made a pretty good run out of it, made a pretty good speed out of it too. So I don't know, it might actually come back to work with him in this case. So field right now, after all that carnage, a little bit of that disrepair and some destruction put on the track. Take a look at the points right. He said to get down. Remember this, just for clarification, this was going into today's action here. This does not reflect the points added on from earlier when Neil Quick had gotten a top 3 position. So podium-wise, as well as the other drivers, Vincent Short and Brian Rose, getting some points from that. So keep that well in mind and in the clearing here. So Neil is currently, at the moment, if I did my math right, only about, he's about 10 points up ahead at the moment. He's about 8 points up ahead of Mr. Brian McCann here. So only 8 points. Doesn't seem like a lot, but believe me, when you think about it, the way the scoring system goes and all that, every position counts. Every position is now going to have to matter for that 3 if he does not get any points from this stage break here in stage number 2. If McCann can get the win in stage 2, the top spot, and Neil Quick does not get to the podium, that will mean Brian is going to take the race lead, the points lead away and get a bigger speed boost, bigger gain here out on the track. And that will give him a lot more confidence to really race wherever he wants to really put the car where he needs to be in position instead of having to drive desperately here. Off the charge, off the runs here. We have 33 laps left at stake here and left out on the track here at Talladega Superspeedway. You got a whole host in a Rolls Royce of drivers right now looking to try and secure top spots, top honors. Off our corner number 4 down to the SimSpeedShop.com restart zone. We're back underway here. The field will bring the field down on the red. Down and away we go yet again. Final laps coming up here in stage 2. And that final stage, I guarantee you more than anything, these drivers are going to get extremely desperate if that doesn't look already desperate enough. Look out for the 3, Brian McCann. Sees his opportunity. He sees his moment. He knows where Neil Quick is. He knows what he's got to do here. Aaron Smith, though, is going to take the race lead away. Brandon Medford just right behind him. Used to be you had to go full throttle with these Cup cars. Now these next gens have changed up completely, where it's not just being full throttle anymore. It's literally having a fight for your right, fight for your survival here. Look at this now. The 33 Kevin McCann helping out family member Brian right up into the fray and in the fight. Aaron Smith drives it hard at him. Try to punch. His shot, trying to punch that thing right at him, but unfortunately it was not enough, and that may have actually cost him more than he realized. Neil Quick now getting a little bit of help from Doug Wysocki in the 34, moving them right down into the middle. Down on the ends, down on the turns here, drivers starting to fall back a little bit or get put back in places they didn't feel like they should be here. Wysocki on the bottom, and the 2 of Neil Quick. Looking for a whole host of run, whole host of momentum coming down there. Neil trying to get just ahead of Brian so he can't get any more points on him. He can make things very interesting here. Stage break comes to an end here in a minute. Neil with a run. Look at him charge it. Will he go to the outside? Will he go for it? Or will he try to work with Wysocki? Looks like he's trying to help Wysocki out a little bit, but I think he's ready to help himself out more than anything here. It is a fight for driving. It's a fight for a driver's survival. Firing on the ends here now. McCann gonna have to work with the guy he's trying to get ahead of here, and Neil Quick as he puts it right into second. And the 2 of Quick. Still your race leader. Kevin and Brian now working with them, working together. Tandem hack speeds. An unruling nature now sees the 3 outside, pulls the run, pulls the slingshot. Kevin follows pursuit. The outside has the charge. Neil Quick's going to be left all alone here. He's going to have to try to avoid trouble. They have to move around. They don't want to get into any trouble there. Aaron Smith, though, going to put the 3 right behind him yet again. Cody Harger right on the bottom lane. Smith trying to get the side draft to work as much as he can. But all that air, all that suction just got taken for granted, taken for position here. And speaking of moving up for position, we took for granted the 14. Kyle Pengraff literally sneaking his way right across. Oh, almost a little tag there for the 66 of Cody Harger. Him and Matt Cobb nearly putting 2 worlds together and making them collide. Chris Medford pushing that 22 as hard as he absolutely can to get up in position for the move and the slingshots. Cook Quick going up top side here, looking to try to stay out of the way for the drivers. He knows this race is kind of cooked here at this point. He'll get put a lap down. Wysocki trying to hang in there, looking to try to make a run off here for positions. We're coming up on the final laps of stage 2. I believe we've only got about 2 more left remaining. And then it'll be pretty much a slingshot 20 lap final conclusion. Unreal performance by these drivers. Unreal stakes and advantages being put down to display here. Oh no, 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 no! And Chris Medford and Cook Quick find themselves in the worst opportunities, the worst spots, and it looks like Kyle Pengraf upside down on his roof here on the back straightaway. Trouble for the number 14, Unreal. Oh my goodness. Well, as I say, I saw that 46 get a little loose. I did not know where he ran off to. We could not find him. But it looked like Pengraf had more of an issue on his hands than anything. Strumbly, it looks like Medford got clipped in by the 22. Oh my goodness. Oh. And Pengraf literally just sent sky high straight to the atmosphere and around the track. Good Lord Almighty. Just could not get out of that mess and out of that weight. See right there, Cop kind of got the run off the block, and that's what it looks like when you go upside down on these cars. It does not feel very good, I'll tell you that right now. Take one more look at it here. We'll take a look at a chart with chase cam here on the number 46. Again, from this angle, it doesn't look too bad. Trouble did kind of close them off a little bit, but you can see Cop in them, and once the cars got loose, it was then just pretty much sent straight out of town. How Medford got out of that one, I don't have any idea, but hey, he got away with it. David Tremblay coming away unscathed, as Brian McCann, Kevin McCann heads to pit road. Doug Wysocki and Brandon Medford will stay on out. And I believe that it's supposed to be the stage break as well here. So here's the interesting part of this one now. Only about 25 laps left to go when we get these guys around this next go around here. Drivers are going to be literally looking for fuel, looking for any kind of mileage they can get to vary on their run. As we take a look at the stint in our pit length here on these drivers, you can see the longest was 27 laps. So they have enough, but they also have to be aware, if they take top spot and they're going full throttle, that does burn and cook up fuel more often than not. And that is going to hurt these drivers more than anything. So now they have to kind of do two strategies. The first part is make the car stay out just a little bit more in the back and just kind of let the other drivers go whole hom and full throttle and serve up as much as you can. Or you have to go basically right to the wire. You got to go for it all. And if you don't go for it all, you may get left in the dust. Because a lot of these drivers right now have kind of proven in their showing they don't exactly like to be left out on that spot. Well, race fans, 24 laps will be left out on the track, and they're not going to leave anything out of this track when all is said and done. And look who the two drivers get to go at it on the restart are Neil Quick and Brian McCann. Ironically enough, the same two drivers in the same position that they will start in for this final restart zone. This is going to be a big one here. Stage 2 has come to an end. The final stage is underway. Someone is walking away with the W. And someone's walking away with the season championship W in the regular season. Playoffs coming up next couple weeks from now. So much on the line, so much at stake right now. Drivers looking for opportunity, looking to strike the run. Brian McCann already at the gate, wasting little time. He sees the 15 of Vincent Short right up ahead of him too. Might have an opening to work off of. Vincent Short's car too badly damaged here. He knows his race is over with, and this is a tough break there for the Holler Boys team. The only one that's left that has a chance is Brian Rose. And Rose right now, well, let's just say the 89 is not exactly wasting time here. He's already coming up to him. Brandon Medford, Doug Wysocki, Matt Kopp, Chris Medford, Mike Harper, Ray Radford, all his using a very, very late pit strategy here. This is interesting. I don't know how I feel about that strategy. They're really just kind of going in at that time in that place, because if these drivers can somehow find a way to remain go clean the whole way around, I don't think they'll have anything to worry about. Fuel-wise, I think at that point it's basically just kind of stay under control and stay out of problem zones. Oh, caution is out though. Caution is out. We will have looks like stage break actually is going to come to an end there. I thought stage 2 had ended already, but apparently not. And it looks like, yeah, if that is where stage 2 ended, look who is on the top of the spot. And Neil Quick is in the 6th slot, which means now, if I'm doing my math right, 2 points ahead of Brian McCann, Neil Quick is now your new regular season points leader. Brian McCann needs to finish at least 2 spots to secure the title of the regular season championship from Neil Quick. If he goes 1 spot up only, I believe that will result in actually no. If he gets 1 spot up, because he was the #1 qualifier, he was the fastest time on the track there. If he can get 1 spot up from the 2 of Neil Quick, the season championship for the regular season belongs to him. He was the Track Time Entertainment Quick Time of the Night. I kind of forgot about that, and I kind of did not think too much about it. So now 19 laps left to go. 19 laps. When we come to the restart, you get about 10 laps to go. I guarantee you more than anything, you're going to see a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, and a lot of runs come from every single one of these drivers just trying to get that top spot. That's the biggest thing right now these drivers are focusing in on. They're watching very, very carefully. They know they have a lot at stake. They have a lot to resort to. Every single one of these drivers is going to get ready to fire off and fire down on the track here. It's been a fight. It's been a runoff here from every single one of these drivers. But which one will be the top driver of them all? Again, Brian doesn't need to win the race. He just needs to be one spot ahead of that too. For Neil Quick, this would mean more than anything to knock down the top of the best, the top of the line, the cream of the crops. He knows he's been up there with them since our season. Multiple wins, multiple podiums, multiple high-end finishes have led to this moment. Pace car is in pit road. The field will work their way on around the front straightaway here. Leading him down the charge, leading him down the pack. Brian McCann, Cody Harger will be set to go as they await the arrival of the green flag restart area. We are back underway. Huge crossover coming down there for the 23 of Dakota Clark. Huge speed built up around. Brian McCann using his advantages, using his teams to his credit, working their way on around. But the outside is getting very, very aggressive up there, getting bumped out a bit. Brian, I guarantee you, just told Kevin, dude, just push me. Don't worry about anything else. Just push me up here and get us to the front. Keep us up front. I guarantee you that's what he is telling him right now. Coming right out the ends, right out the reins here. Every single one of these drivers here, they are getting closer and closer to the edge here. Neil Quick falling further and further back. I think really just the avoidance of the big one. I think he sees it in his mind and his viewing eye. That's what he's extremely scared of. That's what he's extremely worried about. And Willie, could you blame him? We've seen drivers just get into a little bit too close of a pack, a little too close of a runoff, and the next thing you know, everything going completely down on the edge. Aaron Smith now going right down to the bottom lane, and the huge run comes right up through. He's trying to find an opening there, trying to find a little slingshot hole, a little bit of a grip. Jeff Napier in the 40, despite his little problems he had earlier on, seems to be A-okay now. 16 laps remain. I'm still kind of surprised we haven't seen too much pushing and banging and bumping. Mike Harper, though, into the wall protection, got slinged up a little bit there, more than I think he was expecting. Lost his run, lost the momentum. Neil Quick has now rallied the troop. Looks at him he's got Cook Quick, he's got Brandon Medford. He's got Brian Rose. He's got a whole host of them. He's even bringing along Matt Kopp along for the ride now. He's getting every one of these drivers. Chris Medford, and even the 23 of Dakota Clark trying to get closer with them. Ray Radford, much the same. Mike Harper trying to get into that run. Down in the middle of the bottom end here, the number 5, Chris Wally. What on earth is going down with that 5, man? He literally was a lap down and laps down this entire race. Now, finally, a last gasp, a hope, a prayer, anything in his mind has led to this. He's in the top half, the top 5 for the first time today. Chris Wally has a chance at victory lane. But will he get that chance, and will he get the opportunity to strike it big? Especially considering everything going on right now. Wally is damaged up, he is hurt, he is broken up a bit. Aaron Smith keeping clean for most of the day here, keeping his car one piece. The 14 and Kyle Bengraff here, unfortunately, beyond his repair and beyond his damage threshold, he could not get this thing fielded in long enough for the long distance haul that was laid ahead of him. When we hit that final 5 here, we're going to go and show the top 5 here in position. That will give you guys a little bit of an idea on how quick things can change up here in that top rank, top spots. There is a sort of kind of lenient pack here, working everything a little around the track, looking at every little spot up in the field. Wally right now, man, he is trying desperately to get Pengraff and Napier to work with him as much as he can. But the problem is, Wally doesn't have the momentum, doesn't have enough people behind him to really use that to its advantage. And then everybody else right behind them, of course, filing up their own little draft, their own little partner, if you will. The guy that they're all trying to stay away from is, again, that number 2 of Neil Quick, as Jeff Napier is the one being caught up to by him. But Neil Quick right now, like I said earlier about a general in the battlefield, he is in the war zone right now, trying to rally the troops, rally the fields up, and prepare for one last full throttle assault. Single file drafting up the top side. They're trying to get the most speed, the most power, the most run they can get. The most bang for your buck, the most time for your class. Drivers running higher and higher. They're looking for any kind of momentum they can get. Right now, Smith back down the bottom yet again, looking for the pass, looking for the runoff here with Doug Wysocki, the 34. The 5 of Chris Wally and the 14 of Kyle Bengraff up in the fray, up in position. Jeff Napier right now looking to kind of keep a close eye though in position, and good close eye, maybe on a last ditch effort, last minute run. The top 10 closing in. Neil Quick still about 2 seconds back though of Napier. He needs to start getting a run here going with that crew, or he's not going to have a chance to win this one. Did he fall back too quick? Did he fall back too? Did he go too far in? This is starting to get a bit heated right now. You can see that pack behind it is just looking and hoping and praying right now for one last chance. I don't know if they're going to get it. They're going to have to really start pushing a lot harder, especially with what they've got left. 8 laps will remain when they get to the line. There's a huge runoff on the top. There's a huge runoff on the bottom. Any area, any kind of play right now is coming from anyone that can move it up. 3 wide salute. Here we go. Vincent Short. Lap traffic causing problems. Farron Smith left alone. The 5 Chris Wally for the first time tonight takes the race lead away. A point gain for Wally. And a huge momentum booster. After everything he's been through today, I guarantee if this is exactly what he's been dreaming and hoping for all day long, and this is what he got. Eight laps remain. The 5 of Wally, though, now he's going to get put back again in the field. These drivers are not working too well with him on the long haul. They're just kind of getting up there and then leaving him high and dry. Take it for what you will and take it for how you feel about it, but man, he won't give in or he won't give out. Kevin McCann, Brian McCann, pretty much using their teamwork, using their teams as an advantage. The family runs high, and blood runs deeper than water. Brian right now is just one solid few seconds away from getting himself either into trouble or getting the race win and to end the season out with the regular season title. But what happens on the final 3 laps, final 5 laps for that matter? Do the guys behind him just say to heck with it and get extremely aggressive, or are the guys on the bottom who have been doing all day long and that's push and shove? These Chevrolet Camaros have been hard to control and hard to master on this field and on this playing zone. But that doesn't mean that they're impossible to control and deal with. Neil Quick right now trying to get on the draft side of Kyle Pengraff. He's trying to do everything he can with that team, but they keep moving around so much. They're trying to find openings when they can. The problem is you just don't want to keep moving around so much. You've got to keep that straight line draft. And I think they're realizing their biggest mistake, their biggest flaw here. Because now you see Pengraff is the one that's leading those boys in. Same for Napier, but again, they cannot keep doing the way they're doing. They've got to start thinking something quickly. 5 laps to go. High five in the air for the drivers. With 5 laps remaining, anybody's guess. Smith back on the run yet again. The 5 of Wally, man, you saw the one get a little loose. He was pushing him up there, and look at him diving up top side for the block. Now it's Wally's turn to get some moves, to get some push on him. Can he get it? No, he won't get it this time. He can't charge it. Neil Quick is in desperation mode, but at last, for the first time now, he gets a chance. He's got him. He's got it locked. It's locked in. The draft is in. Neil waited all this time. Now he's got to find a way around traffic. Aaron Smith, Brian McCann know what's coming their way. The field's coming for them. 4 to go. This is what you come to see. This is what you come to expect on P3 TV. A last-minute dash, a last-minute burst. The full throttle assault is engaged. Chris Wally to the bottom. He blocks the run. Neil Quick doesn't have any of it. He goes right back in there, fighting him into the fray. Every single one of these drivers trying to find an opening, trying to find a shot to swing it on down with. Neil lost his team, lost his group there with him. He's going to have to try to hope for the best and get some more help here. He's got a bottom lane starting to form. The line starts to draft up the top side, trying to get back on it quickly before it's too little too late. It's anybody's race. We're down to the final 3 laps. Which one will it be? Smith with the lead. Hanging in there. Look out though for Neil Quick. Here he comes yet again. One more time. Neil Quick to the bottom for the race lead. The title on the line. The season championship regular season is on the line between him and Brian McCann. One of them will make the difference. One of them will take it away. Vincent Short stays to the bottom, stays out of trouble. McCann is right on the verge of it all. But he knows Neil has one last trick up his sleeve every now and then. Drivers trying to stay out of trouble and not wreck each other out, especially when there's only 2 laps to go. We'll bring him to the line. The green flag will fly high in the air. We have 2 laps remaining. White flag comes out next time by. And a last-ditch effort by Brian and Kevin. Straight to the bottom. The last block. Maybe the one to secure it. But Quick has got an opening. They left too much time on the clock. And a caution's going to have to fly out of turn number 2. Oh my goodness. I thought we could get it to the line. I thought we could get it in. No. Oh my. So close, yet so far to go. Here's a PT Instant Replay. This is how hard they were pushing. Doug Wysocki just clips the 96, gets into the 54, and Chris Wally's race may be done and over with that damage right there done to him. And I don't even think to bear to witness what he's thinking right now, realizing that this little bump from Wysocki may have been the difference between those 2 drivers. Literally, Chris gave it everything he had and then some. And this is really how chaotic things work for him. He was in the middle of the 3 wide, watch him cross over again into another 3 wide. He was pulling out all the stops. Here's the big move. Here's the big run. He sees openings. He knows he's got to make a move. He's charging through. He's making drivers move around, moving in. And Wysocki gets a little bit of a bump here. Actually, Quick actually getting taken with him there for a second. And it looks like Wally didn't suffer too much damage on that car, so he might have a chance here. But how much is left in there remains to be seen. Brian McCann, though, is going to be your race leader coming to the line here. Him and Kevin McCann right now, they are both trying to preserve the fuel. There are 3 green-white checker attempts coming up here. So now, chances are running high. Drivers definitely getting aggressive here. overtime now. The Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Challenge Series once again. Go full hold down, full hammer down. And the next gens. Holler Boys left on the track with Brian Rose. Kevin McCann and Brian McCann have worked together all day long in the teammate side of things. Brandon Medford getting one more chance, one more opportunity to take this one away. And Neil Quick, because of his pit road strategy, has to go in a little bit of a later time. He has got to get a full-blown charge at these guys if he wants any chance to win the season title in the regular season. He had a chance to beat Kevin and Brian, but that caution with the unfortunate circumstances between Trumbull, Wally, Pengraff, and everyone else involved sadly derailed the momentum and derailed the field. Now they have to find a way to regroup and reclaim that again. Off on the front straightaway here, a field ready to build up speed, build up momentum. Once again, the chances are high, the hopes are there. Someone who's going to win this one out, and someone's going to be the regular season champion. Which one will it be? Here we go. Two now has to make a very crucial move. He's got to think outside or in the middle. Uh-oh, hold on a minute. Big wreck right ensuing though. Now they got to try to avoid all the carnage back there behind. Rill is out again. Quick escapes it. So does Brian McCann. But the problem for Brian is Kevin did not escape the wreck and the carnage there. He gets clipped and clobbered, which means he's left all alone now to defend for himself. Well, that was not the first green-white checker we're going to see, and I definitely guarantee you it won't be the last. But let's see what happened here. Brian McCann got definitely bumped around a bit, and it looked like Brandon Medford was going for the move, but he instead clips him out. Even Aaron Smith got clipped, and everything just completely haywire all over the place there. Really, this was a move that, in Brandon's mind, had a chance, had an opportunity, but you can see right here, not a whole lot of area to go with. I think what happened was he thought he was clear here because of that run, but he drove up way too high, and that's kind of like a really dark spot on the rear end there in the spotting area. Neil Quick, I think, really made the smartest move by going to the back and letting everyone do what they did there, and I think that's really what he was hoping for. But for guys like Aaron Smith and them, who literally have been working their tail ends off all day long, this is exactly what they did not need to see or what they wanted to hear about. Doesn't matter if it's IRL or if it's iRacing. It's pretty much the same circumstance and the same situation sometimes. And Brian McCann, by the way, has got to go into fuel. He went into pit road. McCann comes out. Neil Quick doesn't go too far up though. He'll only be one spot ahead of Brian. Brian knows if he does not get back in that spot, he may lose this season title. The regular season title is up for grabs here between these two, and they're going to have to go back at it one more time in the 9th and 10th slots. Harger, Rose, Napier, Wysocki, Radford will be in the top 5 drivers. You usually do not hear their names too often in that championship, in that race win hunt, are there. So many storylines going into this race, so many opportunities really to strike it big, strike it hard, a chord or two with these drivers. And really, there hasn't been nothing but just complete and utter madness in this race, in this fighters. But now with a last chance, a last opportunity. Now kind of sets this tone up. Wait. Hold on a minute. What's going on with the Neil, number 2, Neil Quick? What is going on down there? What is Neil up to? What is he doing? Parks it down on the front straightaway here. I'm not sure what is going on with him or what is going on with him inside here, but this is not exactly the positioning I would want to be in if I was him. I don't know if he told the officials he wanted to go to the back, or if he was told to go to the back, but I do not like the strategy. This is not what I would want to do. I would try to fight it out from that place he was at and work his way from there. Race fans, this one's going to come to the wire and it'll come to the end. We have one more green-white checkered in store if we have to go there. Cody Harger, Brian Rose, Jeff Napier, Troy Radford, and Doug Wysocki. Top 5. Somebody will win this one out. Someone will take this one in. And I think I might have an idea why Neil was up there going back to the pack here. I think he's thinking yet again there will be another big wreck ensuing with how many drivers are ahead of him for Brian McCann. I think he's realizing this may not be the best position, considering what his brother Kevin went through just a minute ago. Whether it was the right call or not, whether it was the right move, remains to be unknown and unseen. One thing is for sure, though, this race will get concluded one way or another. But who will be the one to conclude it? The anticipation runs high. The blood is running deep. The blood is running cold here. Field preparing. And Neil Quick is entering pit. He's entered in pit road. What? Wait a minute. What is going on with the number 2? He's gone in pit road. Brian just really has to stay out and just survive now at this point. Neil is in pit road. The 2 is in pit road. I am so confused what's going on right now with him and that crew. I think he may have had to serve a penalty down there, but right now we're going to have to go to the outside with Chris Wally. They'll charge it high. There are 4 wide saluting it down the back straightaway. 4 wide salute down the back end. They're looking for any kind of runoff they can get. Brian Rose, maybe the last hope, the last stand for his Holler Boy crew. Trying desperately to get this one foot in his chance in his bag, looking for the win. Neil is going to be put a lap down. I think he might have ran out of fuel. I think that might be a situation there. Brian Rose will lead it down, though. To the white flag they go side by side. Wysocki had him at the line. By about a half a car length there. That was the difference maker. Aaron Smith really getting that insert air used up at the right time. Kevin McCann, same for him. His teammate and family member Brian. Now with one more push, one more shove. And Wysocki blocks them both, but they managed to get around him just in the nick of time. They're going to get a little crazy here, a little crazy. They're going to wreck hard. Wysocki pays the price. So is Brandon Medford. And a frantic brigade. Troy Radford makes it through. Kevin and Brian right on the ends. And Wally pushing it right to the end here, looking for one more run. Anybody's guess who takes this one home as they bring it down onto the front straightaway. Straight to the finish line. White flag to checkers. And Brian McCann will win this race and the season title for the regular season championship. What an impressive race. Chris Wally letting us know there was a penalty on Neil. Quick, he entered a closed pit. And unfortunately, that is going to be what cost the number 2 what could very well have been maybe his best season ever and his only chance at taking a regular season title home. Because tonight, Brian McCann, with the points now gained from his stage and the points now gained from this race win, will be the regular season champion. But an absolute fighter to the end. He did not give in, he did not quit, and he is going to take home victory here at Talladega. What a night. What an absolute and awesome night of action right here. In the home, really, you could say, of all that encompasses racing and its world and its hard racing background and world. Final finishers: Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, Chris Wally, Dakota Clark, David Tremblay, top 5. Aaron Smith, Troy Radford, Jeff Napier, Brian Rose, Ray Radford, the final 10. They round out your field. They round out the charges. And unbelievably, what a day it has been on the high sides, sun side here at Talladega Superspeedway here in Talladega County, Alabama. There's only one thing left to do, and that is to talk with our top 3 drivers. Third place finisher here tonight, Mr. Chris Wally, will be joining us here in just a brief fleeting minute as he gets out of the car, gets himself cleaned up a little bit. I think it's about time, and he is ready to chat with us now. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, here now on the brigade. Your third place finisher tonight, Chris Wally, pops up with a solid position and a solid performance. And really, Chris, well, congratulations on that, first off. But second off, you had to deal with the added pressure and the struggles coming from pit road out of the gate. But then the last bit of this race finally played out in your favor.
Yeah, it was a long night for sure. Just barely missed the grid. Got back to my chair from the warm up there a little late. But yeah, kind of battled through, tried to make some strategy to get a lap back, but then I'd go another lap down. But yeah, it ended up halfway decent here at the end.
Certainly, indeed. I know there's a lot of folks were trying to figure out whether or not you'd be able to get this one back in that position, in that situation. And, well, you certainly not only just did that, but you also really made a bid and a bit of showcase there for the race win. I mean, really, what was going through your mind when things got a little bit crazy and a little bit more hectic on the very end of this one?
Yeah, biggest thing was just trying to stay out of trouble. I know there's a couple guys I'm gonna have to go back and apologize to for probably being a little too aggressive at times and making contact. I tried to see what happened on a couple of those. Looked like could have possibly been some net code to throw us into each other, but that's on me a little bit. But I saw that you could push. I know I pushed Aaron to the front a couple times. So just tried to lock onto somebody and work with them there. Um, Coming out of 4 there, got into the back of Troy. Thought I was going to turn him. Luckily, he held on to it, and I was able to get up under him and kind of make a run.
And you made a run to the end and run to the top 3 in a big position here. I think it's only your second podium of the season of all things, and just absolutely, shocking to say the least. But Wally, you are going to come away third here tonight, sir. So let me ask you this: who do you want to thank you for that one?
Yeah, first off, I want to thank everybody that is a part of this deal. All the drivers, they're all got a lot of talent and really happy that they're on board. Want to thank my wife for allowing me to take the time to run this league, do the things that we do to make it go. I want to say hello to my boy Sawyer. I know he's gonna look back at this and enjoy it. But then all of our sponsors, Spartan Logistics, R&R Racewear, Sim Speed Shop, Track Team or Track Time Entertainment, Loud Pedal Gaming, 5 Star Graphics, and then y'all up in the booth. Y'all do a great job week in and week out, and we've really enjoyed it.
For sure there. Hopefully you enjoy this one too, coming from start to finish. Wally, congratulations, sir. What a performance here, to say the least.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher tonight, Chris Wally, coming up in a solid third place. But now, joining me now in your second place slot will be, of course, the man that is going to be bringing family home to the supper with a bit of gold and a bit of crown on the hands. But Kevin McCann, for you, this was literally the story all night long, was fighting for survival and fighting for the top slots as well as helping out Brian. But man, let's talk about this one for a minute. You were on the back straightaway on that second to last restart, and things get really hectic with you and Brandon. I know there was definitely probably a few words shared with that one, but at least you were able to hold this thing online to get a solid second place finisher.
Yeah, I think that was just hard racing there at the end. Brian was, he was out front. He was going to pick a lane, and as soon as he started moving, Brandon's, natural instinct is to follow the guy in front. He just wasn't clear, and that caused that. But yeah, luckily I had a pretty clean race up until that point. Kept that quick repair in my pocket, and it paid off there in the end. Had a bit of ground to make up there in that last restart, but I'm just gonna say a whole lot of luck and some good lane picks there on that restart got me to where I needed to be. And then I got attached to Brian's rear bumper there, and the rest is history.
It was indeed, and the rest being history, being you coming away with a solid performance and a solid get. I know there was a lot going on, though, really having to try to push and shove with these cars. So I'll ask you this here. I know you were kind of a little later on coming back with us here from the 550 horsepower days to the 670. I mean, how much of a change, though, for you? Did it feel like getting in with these 550 low downforce cars now versus what it started out for to begin with?
It was completely different. It was like driving a whole different car. And I'll be honest, it probably took me and Brian, to at least toward the end of stage 2 to even figure out, where we wanted to be at toward the end, what lane was preferred, and all the dynamics between these restrictor plate races, about which lane is better, how many cars you need in one lane for it to be faster, etc. And that we spent the whole race trying to figure it out. And I think we've figured it out there toward the end. And just I think a little luck and a little more luck on top of that. Got us out front.
Got you up front and got you in a solid performance and a solid get. And what a battle and position this was for you and your crew. A second place finish here at Talladega with your family member Brian right there. So let me ask you this, sir. Who do you want to thank here tonight for this?
Yeah, just thank Wally and Kyle for putting on the show, and everybody comes out and races clean. You guys for doing the broadcast, and shout out to Wally getting another third place there, podium finish. He's been coming on strong here toward the end of the season. I love seeing it.
The regular season starts to finish out strong for him as well as yourself. The playoffs lay in wait. Thank you again for your time, Kevin. Congratulations, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Kevin McCann, ladies and gentlemen, the 33, your second place finisher here tonight. But now joining me in, the winner of Talladega and the season champion for the regular season, that is, ladies and gentlemen, the number 3, Brian McCann. Brian.
Ooh, buddy.
Well, since you come on with a mic, I mean, why not have a little bit of fun with this one here, Brian? Congratulations, sir, here at Talladega. And do I even need to ask anything? You just want to do the talking here?
Yeah, that last restart there was all a blur to me. I'll have to go back and look at the replay. I was so focused. I started somewhere around about 10th. I saw some holes open, and I got a last lap policy of no lift, so that's what I did. I just kept her to the floor, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and there Kevin was, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be fun. So we just kept on going, and he stayed on my bumper and pushed me to the win there. So I thank him for that. couple of restarts before that, I think something happened with Neil, got a black flag. I hate that for him. We were in a championship battle there at the end. I think only 4 points separated us. So, I hate to see that happen to him. But overall, man, that was a good race.
It was a great race. It was 4 points going into the race here, and then he gets that extra bonus points here coming away from the top half and the upper half of the echelon. And then, really, to make things even crazier, you literally were able to outclass him there in stage number 2, and all you had to do was just get 1 spot ahead of him, I believe, judging by everything in the points wise. And not only did you do that and then some, but I mean, it looked like really he was trying to charge everything he had, put everything he got to the table, but you kind of outclassed and outsmarted him there on the last bit.
Yeah, he was up there with us. If he didn't get that black flag, it was going to be, it was going to come down to it. I don't know what would have happened, but the season's been great, and it's been great running with all these guys. I enjoy it. Come out every week. I'm happy to be a part of it. Thanks to Wally and Kyle and all our sponsors and everybody behind the scenes that puts this on for us. And I guess I'll just go talk about my family for watching, my viewers who watch me every week do this. It's a great experience. Thank you.
It's a great experience as well, Brian. This is your season championship for the regular season. The playoffs lay in wait. Is there anybody you want to thank here today for this one?
Yeah, just like I said, everybody helps put this on. It's a great show, and you for doing the broadcast, coming out every week and keeping up with us. Keeping up with all the little battles and the championship points. It's nice to hear. I go back and watch the broadcast myself, and you do a really great job of that.
I appreciate the support, sir. I know there was quite a few you just had to kind of get in there and thank as well, but man, this has been a long, grueling season, and now with the playoffs in store, you've got a lot of work to do, but I think you can hold the task. Congratulations on this one, sir. Well deserved.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the regular season champion winner, Brian McCann, in the number 3. A big thank you again, in large part, to the folks over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics for everything. Big thank you from the IROC Challenge Series, and big thank you from us here at P-Series TV. Guys, this concludes it all, and we thank you in large part for everything. I will see you guys soon when the green flag flies once more on PT Racing TV.